so forth, we were still a conscious hip hop group. And so it was very tough for us to navigate in that music industry with that with lyrics of consciousness and Black power and self determination. These were very hard concepts to consistently push through. Whereas you got people like, I'm not even gonna mention names, but you got others in the hip hop community who are moguls, multi-millionaires, almost, well, even some billionaires. But the content was much more safe in the sense of what white supremacist ideas would like our content to be as a people. It was very much in line with degrading our women, in line with degrading our men, talking about killing one another. You know, it's funny, I was seeing, I'm not going to mention the group, I was watching a Mountain Dew commercial today, actually, and it's of a gangster hip hop group that, you know, numerous records talks about selling drugs, talks about killing one another as far as killing another Black man. Dogs our women out in various lyrical content, and yet they're riding on the equivalent of big wheels in a little room. It's for a Mountain Dew commercial. It's as kiddie as ever, and the people they're riding the big wheels with is some little Asian little girl and a little white boy. And the point is that even though these lyrics dog our women, talk about violence to our men, talk about drug dealing to our people, these rappers are still like little, they're like little pets. They're cute to the white society. They're totally acceptable to white society. Whereas Arrested Development, who talks about self-determination, or Public Enemy, Chuck D, or X-Clan, you'll never see us getting any type of mainstream exposure to that extent. We have to go at ours in another type of, you know, hustle. We have to really work like 5 times as hard to get even a small increment as much support as a lot of those artists that I'm mentioning that they're on the little big wheels and the kiddie concepts. It's, you know, I think it was Chuck D from Public Enemy that said, I think he called it a nigger row. And wow. I guess his point is that it's a Black man that's dangerous to other Black men, but 100% harmless to white society. And that's who they allow to get through the gates. And that's who they will publicize and put up on a pedestal, where Black men like myself or many, many others in the hip hop game that speak about numerous heavy issues will get sort of filtered out, and you won't see us in mainstream as easily. So Arrested Development got through that, but I think one of the reasons that we weren't able to maintain it as long on a mainstream level was because of what I'm talking about. And that's one of the reasons that The Nigga Factory is so important, the documentary that I'm doing. I've done part 1 and 2. I'm working on 3 literally today. And so we'll be finished with that soon, and it'll be out soon too. So anyway, I know we're on a different topic.
No, it's all good, man. You got this all applies, man.
It's about manhood too. Yes. You know what I mean? About what being a real man is and what being a Black man is, and being conscientious of the games that are played on us. So,
dude, everything that you're saying, it takes me back to this whole notion of you were set up to win. You were set up to win. Like, no matter what the system has done, you were set up to win. Right. And we talk about manhood. Our job is to set others up to win, to set our communities up to win, to set our families up, to set our kids up to win. And what's interesting, when you mentioned the journey of the story of you all created this system, your mom came down and you all, in essence, created this ecosystem, this entrepreneurial ecosystem that everybody is aspiring to now, saying, screw the labels. We're doing our own thing, and we're using Instagram and all of that to do our own thing. That's what you all, in essence, put out or laid out there 26, 27 years ago. And that also led to the longevity of folks still talking about speech now, right? And talking about Arrested Development now, because you all had this infrastructure in place that was not reliant upon a system that you knew couldn't save you anyway.
That's correct. Everything you just said is exactly what we were striving to do and did. It's why I'm relevant right now. It's why the group is relevant. We still tour constantly throughout the world and the United States. We still are putting out relevant music, and we're still doing things like the documentaries. I did another documentary called 16 Bars It's about me going into the jail for 10 days to work with inmates on music. And that drops in October of this year, God willing. And we just finished a film festival circuit. It's won about 6 or 7 film festival awards already. I've lost count, but it's getting great reviews. And I'm really excited and grateful for that too.
Man, I'm excited to see it, man. Look, again, and it's interesting because, I was a fan way back in the day, but then I got reintroduced to you when I saw this thing floating about the nigger factory. Like when that thing started popping, I was just like, yo, let me dive into it. And I'm gonna tell you, that was that. But then on your YouTube channel, you did this, you were just basically opening up about like your spiritual walk. And that was the thing that literally touched my soul. I was just like, yo, I got to talk to this brother, man. And so
thank you.
So if you don't mind kind of diving into that part of it, like talk to us a little bit about navigating in this very public life, but then how that is lockstep with your spiritual walk as well.
Yeah. Well, I never, for me personally, I've always felt like the public life and fame and all of that is almost like living in a dream world. It's not necessarily real. It's a lot of fronting for the camera. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, and not just from the people like the artists. I'm not even saying that. The whole idea of it is fronting for the camera. Mm-hmm. And so I never wanted to truly put my most personal and deep eggs in that basket. I love performing and I love being famous. I love people knowing what I'm doing. I love being a very big instrumental part of hip hop. I love all of that. But when it came to like what I really felt was needed to anchor myself as a human being, I didn't want to rely on any of that. Like I felt like there's something much deeper than all of that. And that's God. And so for me, not having a spiritual foundation and root, I felt like I would easily lose myself. And I see so many brothers and sisters doing just that, not knowing that there is no real anchor in that. Those things, if you rely on fame and all of those types of things for your self-esteem, for who you are as a human being, it's easily fleeting. It's like beauty. The Bible says beauty is fleeting.
Absolutely.
It's the same difference. The Bible talks about money and it says you could have a lot of money, but just like a bird, it can up and fly away. And we've seen that more times than not. Most of the artists, most of the people that we've seen that have done extremely well have lost that money by the end of their life. And so it's not something to anchor your life on, and God is that thing. And so I've known that since I was much younger, but I really got serious about it about 23 years ago. I got serious about it and became a disciple of Jesus, a Christian, and really changed my life in some fundamental ways.
That's, again, man, family set you up to win, but then on a personal level, you were rooted in something bigger than yourself.
No doubt.
And that is a relationship with God. I mean, it's like, because that was one of the things I was going to ask you is like, in the midst of all of this, yes, you had the support. Yes, you had the village, but even still, how do you personally stay rooted and stay grounded? And I think you pretty much explained that to us.
Well, brother, let me tell you, I mean, from personal experience, I mentioned to you earlier that I have a brother, 7 years, my elder. He died at a very early age. He died at 29 of an asthma attack. It was the exact same week that my grandmother, who I used to visit in Tennessee, died. Wow. She died of a heart attack. And what that taught me in a very real way was that family, even the village, it can disappear. It's not enough to anchor you for your entire life. It is important. And I'm not saying that the village isn't important. God gave us family for a foundational support system. Despite whatever else the world is doing, he gave us family for that foundation and that support. So I do appreciate it, and I know that it's a powerful part, but even more powerful than your blood family, because obviously and many people that's listening know that families can also fail at their intended purpose, their God-intended divine purpose. And so God himself is still more important than even our family connections. And I've known that for years, but seeing my brother die, seeing my grandmother die, same week, the lyrics, take me to another place, take me to another land, make me forget all that hurts me and help me understand your plan, comes from a real place because I didn't know what was going to happen next. When I rapped in Tennessee, Lord, I've been really stressed, down and out, losing ground. Although I am black and proud, problems got me pessimistic. brothers and sisters keep messing up. Why does it have to be so darn tough? I don't know where I can go to let these ghosts out of my skull. My grandma passed. My brother's gone. I never at once felt so alone, so on and so forth. So I know you're supposed to be my steering wheel, not just my spare tire. And those lyrics are all about the fact that you could lose family, you could lose this, the village, but God at the end of the day has the plan, and we have to follow those steps.
Brothers, wow. Like, wow. Think about that. What are you anchored in? Like, I think about that. Like, what are you anchored in? What is that thing that's bigger than you? Because, I mean, we have to have that. And I think, to your point, a lot of the issues that we deal with, a lot of the things are just the fact that we're not anchored. We don't have that family support. Some of us, that's why we're creating this village. Black Fathers Now is bringing the village to the brothers via technology, podcast, YouTube, and all. But the other part to it is you have to be anchored in something that's even bigger than that, because people fail you. I mean, from a biblical perspective, you shouldn't put faith in man, right? That's correct. Man is imperfect. There's not one perfect man on this earth. And so you put your faith in man. What happens when that man disappoints you?
That's correct.
Faith. And so, brother, that's powerful. And dude, I mean, literally your life and your experiences are just, you are a movie in itself. Like, I don't know. Have you done a movie yet on your life? No, but we are working on it. I have a wonderful woman who's the professor at Spelman College for movie and film. Her name is April Lundy. Her and I have been working on a script, because the biggest part about a film is the script. If you get a great script, even if someone has never heard of Arrested Development, even if they could care less about who we are or who speech is, if a script and a story is good, then you can get anybody to listen and watch anything. And so that's the key. We just want to make a great script. So yes, we are working on a movie. I was about to say, I figured that. I mean, my little wheels are turning. I'm assume that. And so with these experiences, man, and all of this, you mentioned that you're a husband and a father. How have these experiences, the worldwide success and the family structure, the unit of setting up for success, and then you're rooted, spiritual groundings, and how have all of these things you've been exposed to, how have they impacted you as a husband and a father? Well, I mean, I think the biggest impact for me as a husband and father has been Jesus. I'll be honest, because his wisdom, the scriptures, they have helped to be the thing that, like I said a second ago, grounds me, has trained me, and really has molded me and refined me. So I'll say that because, as I told you earlier, my father, even though he set my mother up to win, the reason they divorced was because of him. There was a lot of generational curses or problems that really was passed down to me, that if it wasn't for Jesus and him being bigger than me and me deciding to follow what he has to say, I would have made the same mistakes. I must say, I probably wouldn't be on this show because anything about fathers, I probably would have made some really big mistakes being a father and also being a husband. I know I would have made some really big mistakes because I was on the trail of doing that when I was really approached for being a Christian by some people. And I shared that on my YouTube thing on how I was approached about it and what really moved me about it. But, take that experience away of Christianity, I think I would have made some really big mistakes. And I'd just be, I probably would have learned from them, but I would have made some pretty big mistakes. Yeah. And so thinking about that and understanding your personal experience, what is some wisdom that you would drop to the brothers that are listening, as it pertains to fatherhood, to relationships, to, thinking about life and, capturing who you are, understanding who you are. Like, what is some wisdom from brother speech to the brothers that are listening? Well, I say this, in my opinion, the priorities you should have in life is number one, God. So your first priority is striving to get lockstep in sync with God. And then number two priority, if you're married, is your wife, not your kids, your wife. Really making sure that you're helping her spiritually, that you're lifting her up spiritually, and you're lockstep and in sync with her. Then your kids. Because it's like when you're on the airplane and they tell you if there's a loss of pressure, you put on your mask first and then you help your children with their mask. You can't help anybody under you or that's in your control in a sense
if you yourself are not straight. You got to get yourself straight with God. Then your your wife, you need to help her and be in there with her. And then both of y'all together help your children. So I would say get that stuff, your priority straight. There's so many marriages that are no longer in it for God, or maybe never were, or they're in it for their children and not even in it for each other. And that's, to me, a wrong place to be. There's going to be a time period, if you last in your marriage, that your kids will leave the house and it's back to just you and your husband, or you and your wife. And
Absolutely.
you need to be able to have that relationship on really tight. And your kids need to see that, because especially the youth, they're looking for examples. There's so many kids that don't even want to get married. They don't think marriage is a reliable or even a productive institution. And so when you do have that relationship tight with your wife, then they could see a great example and hope for similar results in their life, or even better results for their life. So I would tell the brothers, get your priorities straight, man. God first. And that means a lot of the things that we may be doing, you have to shed. You have to allow God to refine you. That's the same difference with me. I'm not speaking like I know better than you. I'm saying to the brothers that this is what I did too. Allow God to refine you and make you a better human being, the one that he intended you to be. And then, of course, the wife and the children. So that's what I would say. Priorities.
Priorities and that divine order, man. That's what it's all about, man. And you mentioned something there about the example. And again, that plays back into the notion of the example set by your parents in regards to setting you up for success. There's a poem that I learned a long time ago. It's called Live Your Creed by Langston Hughes. And it starts off with his first, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. That's the first stanza. Then that last stanza says, for I may misunderstand you and the fine advice you give, but there's no misunderstanding how you act and how you live. And so,
love it.
Yeah, so to the notion of really being that living, that tangible example, we can say it, but are we living it? Do our actions map to our words? And you know, brother, man, you're so full. I mean, brother, speech is brother preach, man. You bringing all kind of wisdom tonight, man. And so
I appreciate that, man.
No doubt, man. And so, you know, so if the brothers wanted to hear more from you and check out what you have going on, see the Nigga Factory, see all the music, see where you're touring, because you're still actively touring all around the world. I mean, I see that periodically too. You know, where can we check things out? How can we follow you, and how can we support, man? Well,
first of all, thank you for the support. You go to brotherspeech.com.
Okay.
Brother, then speech, SPEECH.com. And on there, we have all the things, or I have all the things that I'm doing. As you already mentioned, you can sign my mailing list and you can get the updates on all of our tours. You can get the new music. You can get, you can view the Nigga Factory Part 1 and 2 already. 16 bars. You can see where that's playing in a town near you. And I also have two other important things that I'm proud of. One is my queen and I, my wife, we have an art school called the Victory Spot. It's here in Georgia, which is where I live. And we are a full-fledged art school. We teach acting, dance, production, voice, instruments like bass, guitar, drums, all of these things. So we teach a lot of great things for the young generation. And then another thing that I'm very proud of, when my brother died at 29, my mother and I started a scholarship fund in his name. It's called the Terrence Thomas Scholarship Fund. We've been running that for the last 27 years, and it is now up to $1 million that we have given away to college students, Black college students, people that are looking to get their children through school. You want to reach out, get on my website, brotherspeech.com. And you may be able to qualify, or your children, I should say, may be able to qualify for help and financial help to get through college. So that's another thing that I'm extremely excited about and want people to know more about. So, yeah, all of that is on brotherspeech.com.
All right, fellas, brotherspeech.com. Literally, check him out. Get on the mailing list. And then once you get there, get on the YouTube channel, follow the brother on social media. He's always dropping stuff, and you can follow him around the world when he's touring. And I mean, see him and his beautiful wife and just having a good time and showing us how, you know, how the good life is, right? How you live the good life, right?
I love it, man. That's awesome.
I love it, brother. And man, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on and really just spending time with us and, you know, sharing some of your wisdom, sharing some of your story, but then also pouring into us and giving us a window into you and understanding how you stay grounded, because this thing is much, much, much bigger than both of us. And we're just part of this whole equation here. We're pieces to the puzzle, and we're doing our part.
Man, well, thank you for having the show, man. I really appreciate it. When I saw what it was about, that's why I agreed to do it in the first place. I want to lift up the brothers that are fathers, man. Much love to y'all. Much strength to you. We're all in this together, man. Let's lift each other up. Yeah, no doubt.
Sir. That's it. Got to lift each other up, man. And definitely, again, thank Brother Speech for coming online. Again, y'all visit him. Visit brotherspeech.com. You can catch all of his links, and you can get everything. Sign up for his mailing list. Support. Check out 16 Bars. It's in a theater near you somewhere. Check out the Nigger Factory. It is awesome. It'll change your perspective on the industry. Like, literally, the brother knows from the inside. Check that out. Make sure to also look at the Victory Spot. If you're in Metro Atlanta, check out the Victory Spot. They have some really dope stuff going on. And if you're a student currently right now, the Terrence Thomas Scholarship, which is currently on brotherspeech.com, you can get more information about that. And make sure when you reach out to him, let him know you heard about him on Black Fathers Now. And we got to keep this brother moving, man, because you're really doing some good stuff, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Now, fellas, as always, make sure to follow Black Fathers Now. Visit blackfathersnow.com. Follow Black Fathers Now on all social media outlets. Also, visit blackfamilyapparel.com. Grab some dope apparel that celebrates the nuances of the Black family. And again, until next time, fellas, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.